The word epiphany means a discovery or a revelation about something that was unknown beforehand. When we talk about the Epiphany as the feast of the church, there's actually two things going on. It's the revelation of Jesus to the Gentiles, the Magi come. But the fact that the Magi have come clear from Persia for this event is also a revelation to Mary and Joseph about the significance of this particular child. I think one of the things to understand about Epiphany is that Epiphany is a process, and it isn't so much an event. We tend to think of Epiphany as an event, and if I were to ask, probably most people here can name epiphanies they've had in their lives. But as a matter of fact, it is an ongoing process. And if we were to look at the readings that you and I take every Sunday, if we were to imagine Jesus walking the streets of Israel, at a certain point, he prays over a person. It was very common in Israel for people to pray over people who were sick. The difference is when Jesus prayed over them, they got well. So they suddenly realized, this man's a healer. Then they found he could pray over the dead, and they'd get up. This man raises the dead. They found that this man with no education at all was able to teach in a way that enthralled people. He was a rabbi. But each time we have one of our readings, one of the reasons we have these readings is they tell you something about Jesus. They tell you something about who he is because of the events that go on in his life. I think it's important to understand that's very true of our own lives. One of the curious things is that most of us have an idea of ourselves that actually is a little exaggerated. Most of us think we are better than we really are. That's called superego in psychology. I call it common sense. But anyway, most of us presume we are a little better than we are. And the interesting thing is that people who really dislike us or who are against us do exactly the opposite. They presume we're really worse than we are. And the only way to really balance that is for you and I to constantly watch our own actions to find out who we are. It is our actions that will go in an ongoing revelation of exactly who we are. If I ever think I'm more important than I really am, I just need to watch what I'm doing. That will correct it. And if I ever fall prey to the fact of people who are really tearing me down, I have to just look at my actions, and that will correct it. People really on our side have an exaggerated view, and people really against us have the other view. But as a matter of fact, the view that God holds of you is based on your actions. And so to the degree you and I watch our own actions, we find out who we really are. And the wonder of finding out who you really are is you can decide what you want to accent and keep and what really needs to be done. But until I actually know who I am, I have no ability to make those changes.